Thought I'd do a bit of an aquaponic update, see if we can bring some fish to the surface. These guys are still feeding, so they're going pretty good. They're a little bit nervous because there's this camera stuck through the gap at the moment, but yeah, they've been feeding alright. A lot more better than I thought. A lot of people said once the water temperature drops down to about 18 degrees they stop feeding. At the moment it's been around about 18 degrees to 16 degrees, so they're a bit shy. They like to feed where no one can see them. Yeah, so I've been pretty happy with the way they're going. Actually pulled a couple out a few weeks ago and shared them with some family when we went away on a bit of a holiday. Everyone was really impressed with them, so yeah, can't really complain about that at all. Not being a big fish eater myself, I was a little bit concerned that maybe they wouldn't be up to par, but apparently they were. Everyone was most impressed, so I'll have a bit of a look at the rest of the system, I suppose. Yeah, aquaponic update time. Someone the other day asked me how we go about cleaning this guy out. What I normally do is turn off the tap here. I actually haven't seen that. The tap was in on the slow pipe on the inside of the tank, or the solids lifting outlet pipe. I've actually moved it out here just to make it a lot easier to get to, so I can turn it on and off. All I do is turn that off, let the water level in here go down through that pipe there. Then I take the little nozzle from a little tank vacuum here and give it a good stir up. So what that stirring up does, it gets all those solids down the bottom there resuspended in the water, and then I drain it off through the tap down the bottom here. This water is very nutrient rich, especially with the solids that accumulate down the bottom, and I use it to water the hay bale beds out the front, which don't have a lot of nutrient in them, so the water doesn't go to waste. It gets put to a good use actually. And I also feed some of these strawberries down here. I like to give these guys a good feed, and they're rewarding me. So these are sort of semi-aquaponic strawberries. Another thing that's going to be happening soon, and I've talked about it before, is the pipework's all changing. So I'm actually thinking about ditching all my other plans and going straight to a 40mm pipe down the end there, and using the 32mm pipe that's there, using that on the fish farm when we come time to building that. So that way I just have a larger diameter pipe, everything can run through this radial flow filter and just be done with it. And then from the 40mm I'll run down in 20mm, 25mm or inch reducers to go into taps to feed the grow beds themselves. So I just figure it's one pipe, whole lot, and I'm done. Yeah, so I won't rabbit on any more about that now. I'll be here for another quarter of an hour if I do. So we'll just shut him up. One of the things I will be doing though, and I will mention, is the addition of these guys here. Grab the right one. These are the two 45 degree joiners put together to make 90 degree. What happens is the water falls down here and then has to redirect. If you have a nice gentle corner on it, the water will flow a lot easier and the water flow won't be retarded as much. So I've got one inside here where that pipe comes through like that, and it's a gentle up lifting motion for the water rather than hitting a wall and then having to be forced up. So these are going to be little things I'll be making up for all our corners. So instead of a 90 degree there, there'll be two 45s, and the same over here where the pipe work comes around, just so the water can circulate a lot more freely, so a little bit gentler on the flow of the water. Anyway, I'll stop rabbiting on about that. The plants themselves, ended up having to pull a couple more garlic. They just got a little bit mushy in there, so I pulled them out, and those fish are still splashing around. I pulled them out and tossed them. Looks like we're only going to get 3 garlic out of the aquaponic garlic. I'll try and do better next year. The Egyptian spinach, we've pulled a whole heap of seed pods off them and dried them out. Actually, we've had a really good week for seed collecting. We've collected a whole heap of seed from all around the patch. So we've done tomatoes, a couple of eggplants, a couple of chilies. Thanks Dave, one of the chocolate habaneros. Yeah, so really happy with that. Some marigold seeds. And these guys are going to be a great addition to the garden. You've probably seen them in previous ones. They're a nice leaf's probably about that large. Nice leafy green to go into salads. The girls liked it, I liked it, so definitely be planting some more of them out, but more in the soil garden I think. The other plants in here, strawberries, coming on nicely, a couple of fruit forming. The celery, this celery has been chopped back and it's regrown, pretty much all the same as this one. And as you can see, he's starting to send up some new fresh shoots, so trying to just continually harvest the celery here. That one was cut back because it was shading the Touchstone Gold beetroot over the back there, so they're sort of surviving. The watermelon and radish that were over there crowded out all my Detroit beetroot that were down there, and I think only one's left over there. Trying out a KY1 tomato over the back there. That's some seed we saved from a plant in our garden. Haven't tried tomatoes in the aquaponics. And the other little experiment we're running at the moment is sweet potato. Someone said you can't do it, so I threw a runner in and it survived. And the leaves are looking alright down in there, so looking healthy. So we'll see how we go. I don't think the tubers will go too well in there, but hey, it's worth a shot. Got back from our little trip away, and we found that our pepino has gone and started fruiting on us. So we've got some nice pepinos coming on. There's one there, and there's a couple down in here, a couple over the back there, this one here. So it looks like we're going to get some nice pepino fruit off of this guy. I was worried about adding some potassium into the system for the fruit and the flowers. Still haven't gotten around to that because the pH has been pretty well adjusted. It's sitting around about 6.6 at the moment, so I don't really have to buffer it up, so I haven't added any potash or potassium bicarbonate yet. So it's pretty much, we're just going to have to wait until I need to buffer the system up. The lavender's doing really well. Yeah, so if you want to grow aquaponic lavender, it does do fairly well in the system. These celery really need just to be cut back. They're sort of shading out some of the plants behind them over there. A little warrigal green or New Zealand spinach. He actually came from some mulch that was collected from this wicking barrel here. There was a timber mulch in there, and there was a warrigal green in there. One of the seeds had dropped off, and in the bucket that I collected the mulch in, I used it again the other day, I saw this little seedling. He had a seed attached to his root, and I popped him in here, and he looks to have survived and has thrown off another new little leaf down in there. So rather happy about that. We'll see how the warrigal greens go in here. Cuttings I planted in here before never did any good, but yeah, if this one's grown from seed it might be different. The beetroot I planted in the last clip, and as well as some volunteer basil, has done really well so far. It's germinated and growing. Over the back here I planted out a couple of jalapenos, this one just the other day and this one a few weeks ago I think. He might have been in the last update clip. Doing a lot better than this one. They were planted out as seedlings at the same stage. I just had nowhere to put this guy, so he stayed in the punnet. Speaking so quick, I'm getting a dry mouth. The kangkong's doing alright. This plant here is the one I'm going to keep. It's sort of gone a bit pale and stunted at the moment. It probably could do with a bit of an iron top up. I haven't amended the system with iron for quite a while. Should probably do that this week. Also to the cooler weather, this stuff really likes the heat, so the cooler weather may be affecting it as well. This kangkong over here will be coming out soon. The only reason this one's still in is because he's got a couple of seed pods, so I'm really wanting to collect some seeds from the kangkong from our own plants and grow them again. The water chestnuts, the little stand that was over here, I pulled them and they got harvested along with the broccoli box that was in the soil garden. But I've left this one in here because he's still got some greenery on him, and we'll wait for the greenery to die off and then we'll pull him out. And these plants over here, pretty much will fall from the other side. This parsley's crowding out all these poor little beetroot down in here, so it's really going to need a big mowing, I think. A good mowing, take him back to let some sun through. Have one that's doing half decent over there, but yeah, it's just not getting enough sunlight. The sun comes from that direction, so it sort of gets shaded out here during winter. So there we go. I suppose that's pretty much all it. Oh, sad news. Did have a bit of sad news during the week. We lost one of our original goldfish from the sump tank. The poor little fella came out the other morning and he was floating, well, it actually wasn't floating, it was down near the pump down there in the corner, in the far corner over there, and yeah, he had died that night. He was swimming around the day before, so it was a bit of a disappointment. His gills were nice, he had a nice slime coat on him, his eyes were clear. There wasn't any visual infections on his scales at all, so I'm not real sure what happened to him, but the other goldfish looked fine. They were feeding fine yesterday, so hopefully it's just one of those things. Well, that's pretty much all it for a bit of an aquaponic update. There's not really a lot exciting going on in there. The pepino's the highlight of my week. Getting home and seeing that growing in there, I was really happy with the size of that fruit. The only other big things that will be happening in this system is me trying to finally nail down how I'm going to do this pipe work. I'm fairly sure that I'll go with the 40mm all the way around, or the 1.5 inch all the way around. Now it's just a matter of finding the time. With this pipe work, I pretty much will have to set a day aside just to do it, because you can't halfway get through one of these jobs down tools and, you know, finish it off the next day. It has to be done for the fish's sake and for the plant's sake. So I just really haven't had a day where I can sit down and do it all in one hit. Hopefully I'll get one soon, and yeah, I can knock it off. So I suppose that is pretty much all it. I'll stop yabbering on. Any comments, questions, suggestions, just drop them in the comment section below and I'll get back to you. Other than that, I hope you have a great one and take it easy. Catch ya.